Hey Bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are making this gorgeous Sugar Plum facial lotion. I am so smitten with this stuff. There is so much good for skin awesomeness going on in this little bottle, and I just, Because it's winter, I have kept this super hydrating. So there are quite a lot of humectants in here and other sort of film formers, moisturizers, things to really keep our skin soft and hydrated and happy. So there's some Propanediol, there's vegetable glycerine, there's hyaluronic acid, there's panthenol, there's oat protein, there's lots of really great things in there to help hold moisture to your skin and keep your skin looking really plump and happy. Our oil phase is pretty small, keeping it quite light and fast absorbing. I have included, of course, our signature plum oil, and I have let that shine as our only scented ingredient. I did do an earlier version of this that included the benzoin and cardamom, sort of complementary notes, essential oils that I've been including in other projects, but I found that it was just really much too strong for use on the face, and so I decided to just let the plum oil just shine all on its own. Because this recipe does contain lots of awesome for skin things, it also contains kind of lots of ingredients. And I recognize that there's a good chance that you might not have all of them. So if you don't, please go down to the description box below this video and click through to find this recipe on my blog. It is linked right down there. You can also go to humblebeeandme.com and search for the name of the recipe. It comes out at the same time as the video, so it's all there for you all at the same time. There's a big long list of substitutions and sort of recommended alterations down at the bottom of the recipe that you can read through. I've also been working really hard on the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia. This is something I launched a couple years ago and haven't updated as diligently as I should have, but I have added a lot of new entries recently. And so you can go and learn about individual ingredients with substitution suggestions and discussions about why we would use them, what they do in a product, usage rates, all kinds of awesome things. So it's a really great resource. It's totally free and I'm quite proud of it. So I highly recommend stopping by there as well. The making part for this lotion is pretty simple. If you're using the same emulsifying wax that I'm using, you will want to babysit it and mix it a bit more during the cool down phase than you might with a different emulsifying wax. But hey, there's more information about that on the blog too. So come on, let's get started. We'll begin by combining the ingredients for a heated water phase in a small beaker. So in this small beaker, I already have 20 grams of a 1% low molecular weight hyaluronic acid solution. And to that, I'm going to add 44.9 grams of distilled water, 2 grams of powdered panthenol, 3 grams vegetable glycerine, 2 grams Propanediol 1,3, and 2 grams hydrolyzed oat protein. For our oil phase, you'll need 4 grams of Ritamulse SCG emulsifying wax, 6 grams plum oil, 2 grams cetyl alcohol, 7 grams argan oil, and 1 gram of dimethicone 350. And just a reminder, if you don't have any of these ingredients or you'd like to substitute them out, please go down to the description box below this video and click through to find this recipe on my blog where I have tons of information on the substitutions and why we're using all these ingredients. Up next is heating, so we are going to put our 2 heated phases in a water bath. So this is a wide flat bottom saute pan that has about 1 inch or 3 centimeters of water in the bottom of it. Before I put the water phase on, I'm just going to weigh it and note that weight. Knowing our before weight will allow me to top up any water lost to evaporation, but I'm going to go put this on the stovetop over medium heat for about 20 minutes until everything is melted through over here and our phases are the same temperature. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes and everything has melted through and heated through, so we can remove our water bath from the heat and remove our phases from the water bath. So before we do anything else, we need to top up our water phase with any some extra water, anything that was lost. So refer back to my notes here. So now it's time to start blending. So grab our immersion blender and start blending in a few quick pulses and work our way up to a full blend. Okay, so you can see that that has emulsified, but it is still very hot. It's still steaming and it's still very thin. So I'm going to let this cool for about 3 minutes and then come back and stir it some more. 3 minutes later, you can kind of see it is starting to separate a little bit. You'll notice that this This time I'm using shorter sort of between phase waiting times than I often would, and that's because this emulsifying wax can be a little bit more particular about forming stable emulsions than something like Polo wax, which is pretty foolproof. So I'm gonna give this another good blend in. So that was about another 2 minutes of blending and stirring. I'm gonna leave it for another 3 and then come back again. Ooh, we're starting to get some viscosity going on here. You can see that that is beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna give this another blend here. It's definitely still pretty warm, but it is cooling down quite nicely. Something I'm going to add now is our Penstia powder. So this is 3 grams. We're not quite cool enough for the cool down phase, but Penstia powder doesn't need to go in the cool down phase. It doesn't melt in oils and it doesn't dissolve in water. So I kind of find that if you put it in either one of those phases, you can spend a while being like, why isn't this melting or dissolving, before realizing, oh, it's because it's not going to. So it's nice to just kind of add it here, and then we'll just give that a quick blend in. And with that, I think we are done with our immersion blender, so I'm just going to clean this off. Yep, that's still pretty toasty, so I'm going to set this aside here and we can weigh out our cool down phase. So we're going to weigh our cool down phase out into this little dish, which I put on a more precise scale. So this goes to 2 decimal points of a gram, which is great for measuring out these ingredients that we're using in smaller, more precise amounts. So we're going to start with our N-acetyl glucosamine. We need 2 grams of this. We need half a gram of allantoin. Allantoin? Never really confident in my pronunciation of that. I've looked it up so many times and they've all just kind of blended together, the right, the wrong, and the who knows. Half a gram of liquid germall plus, and 0.1 grams vitamin E. All right, that is feeling cool to the touch, so we are ready to get our cool down phase in there. So I'm just going to add a scoop or 2 of lotion to the cool down phase, and then blend everything together here, and then transfer it back into the parent batch. I find that this reduces the amount of those precious cool down phase ingredients that can be lost to the secondary weighing container. And that is lovely, and I don't really notice any strong soaping, which I also really like. So I'm just gonna let this fully cool down to room temperature, and then we can package it. Now it's time to package it up. So I've got this really neat airless pump top bottle. It's got a fairly narrow orifice, so we are going to fill it using a syringe. So I've just got a jar here to hold it upright, and we'll just fill away. I thought I'd put the rest in a little soft squeeze tube from Humblebee. And there you go. You just made a gorgeous sugar plum facial lotion. I just wanted to test out this pump on camera as well. Ooh, love that. So it primes much faster than a pump tube where there's a tube that goes all the way down to the bottom of it, because it just gets pulled right out the top as the bottom platform moves up. That's just gorgeous. I really like this lotion, and I find it just makes my skin look amazing. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and please do go down to the description box below this video and click through to find this recipe on my blog, or just go to humblebeeandme.com and search for the name of the recipe. There you'll find everything written out, links to all the ingredients, and tons of information on substitutions, scaling, shelf life, and a whole lot more. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.